Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis. And I have been gifted this wonderful team God has provided me. So I always like to introduce them because I couldn't do this without them. So first off, let's go to Faith. This is Faith, who has been my assistant since the day she was born. She used to sit on my podium and help me do announcements. She's a tiny little baby. And now she's going to be 18 in a couple of months. And yeah, she's excited. And she's my official assistant. So she's also our soloist. So that's really nice too. So thank you, Faith, for being here. We really appreciate you. And then my partner in crime since 1998, really. Doesn't that seem like a long time ago, Oz?
20-some years.
I know.
Illegal.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. The wise and powerful Oz, who he was my first baby practitioner, actually. I took all of his training except for one class. I think he took at Mile High, but all of his training with me. And then was my board president for many, many years. He's my first licensed practitioner. And so when he moved off to Florida, we were like, oh no. And because of technology, I have him back with me. It's awesome. And because he's now in Wisconsin, because they go to Wisconsin in the summer, so it's not quite as hot. And so he's coming to us live from Wisconsin. So that's pretty cool, actually. But Oz does our pray-ins and our pray-outs, and he's available at the end for a 1-minute miracle, which I'll talk about later in the announcements. But welcome, Oz. Thank you for being here. And as far as all of you are concerned, I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning. We're really blessed to have you here with us as well. And our topic today is words have power. I'm going to talk a little bit about not only words themselves, but the sound of our own voice saying words, and of course the feelings that are underlying those and what they evoke. So it's going to be fun. Stick around. I think you're going to enjoy this sermon today. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
The presence of God right here, right now, for that is where God always is. In all things, as all things. Eternal and ever present. That one thing that we call God encompasses all of creation and all of potential, all probable universes summed up into that one thing that is all that is. And I know that presence is right here with me, as it is also with each of you. We are all one in that presence of God. I know that that presence works through our service, and I know that the blessings that cycle around and through and in each of the words and messages come forth through our lives as a blessing to those that we meet. And for this great circle of blessing, I give great thanks, and I let it be so, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. I didn't introduce the music, which I like to do because these artists have given their music to us to use on Sunday morning, so we're really blessed to have that. One of them is Reverend Ferry Elaine Silver, and this next song is going to be one of hers, and then at the end we do one from Karen Drucker. And so I like to introduce them because I feel like they are part of our team. I don't know, just my opinion. So if you are here, please say hi, hello, good morning, however you'd like to greet us. When we're in a facility, I can see who's there, and it just feels like I know what's going on when I can look out and see you. Well, I can't do that with this software. So please say hi, good morning, hello, however you'd like to greet us. And that way I know who's here. Also, if you'd like to do a watch party, there's a watch party button. It's a great way for people to know your friends to know what kind of talks they're going to receive if they come to our service. And you can talk back and forth because you can't bother anybody, right? So you can answer their questions, and they can get a better sense of what's going on. So use that watch party button. So this next video, as I said, is from Reverend Ferry Elaine Silver. It is the basis of our teaching, which is we are all one.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I receive, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
Like I said, if you're here, please say hi, hello, good morning, however you would like to greet us. I can't see you, and I like knowing who's here. It just gives me that sense of, I don't know, knowing that people are here. The software doesn't allow that. In a facility, you can look out and see how many people are here. But anyway, say hi, hello, good morning, however you'd like to greet us. I'd appreciate that. Also, if you like something you hear, whether it's a prayer that Oz does or the song that Faith sings today or something that I say, there's that like button, the thumbs up. And if you really love something, we love to get hearts. So, and then, if I really strike a chord, like something, not just me, but Oz or Faith strikes a chord, please use the wow button. And then it lets me know that I've really hit my target. That feedback is really important to us. So I'm going to be talking about words have power, and there's 3 parts to this. The words themselves, the sound of our words, and the feeling that they evoke, and the feeling that we need to have to make them more powerful. So we're going to talk about that today, along with a couple of affirmations I'm going to give you. Words can either heal or they can harm. And it's important to note that because, Have you ever heard that phrase, dying the death of 1,000 cuts? When you're in a relationship that is not beneficial to you, many times the words that someone says to us can be, they can inflict harm. Likewise, if we're in a position where we can offer words that soothe people, comfort them, then the words become powerful for not only yourself, but for the other people. One of the things that I love about doing memorials and funerals, it seems weird to say that, but the reason I like doing that is because everybody else is totally in grief. They are completely overcome with the grief that they're feeling. And I get to be that calm port in the storm for them. Through the words that I say and the way I carry myself with that. So we can either harm or we can heal through the words that we say. And so words begin to have a lot of power if we just really think about that. For instance, here's one most of you will be familiar with, is abracadabra. Do you remember that? In the late 18th century, as a mystical word that was engraved and used as a charm to ward off illness, the Aramaic phrase avra kadabra, meaning I will create as I speak, the source of which is 3 Hebrew words: Ab, Father; Ben, Son; and Ruach HaKadosh, Holy Spirit. And so when you think about the root of it, the Chaldean Abba Kadabra, meaning perish like the word, you realize that the power of the word, the power that those words connotes, is not just some magical spell that somebody says, but in fact has a basis in the Hebrew religion, where you are celebrating certain words by saying those. And when I say Abba, for example, Father, or I say, and I put it together with Son, and then put it together with Holy Spirit, it forms this Trinity of power. Let's put it that way. It forms a Trinity of power with the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, right? Are you familiar with that from Christianity? Same in all the religions. If you really think about it, all of them are the same. And how about this one? When Ali Baba, remember that movie with 1001 Nights? When he says, open sesame, and the cave opens, it's not so much that it was him speaking those words that opened that cave. And it's not so much that the individual word had any power. It was the combination of him saying it, the words themselves, and the feeling that he evoked in using them. So when he said, open sesame, opens the cave, right? In case you don't know who that is, let me read a quick thing here about it. The tale was added to the story collection 1001 Nights by one of its European translators, Antoine Galland, who called his volumes Les Mille. I can't even do that. Never mind. But Ali Baba and his older brother, Qasim, sometimes spelled, are the sons of a merchant. After their father's death, the greedy Qasim marries a wealthy woman and becomes a well-to-do, building on their father's business. And Ali Baba marries a poor woman and settles into the trade of a woodcutter. One day, Ali Baba is at work collecting and cutting firewood in the forest when he happens to overhear a group of 40 thieves visiting their stored treasure. Their treasure is in a cave, the mouth of which is sealed by a huge rock. It opens on the magic words, open sesame, and seals itself on the words, closed sesame. When the thieves are gone, Ali Baba enters the cave himself and takes a single bag of gold coins home. Ali Baba and his wife borrow his sister-in-law's scales to weigh their new wealth, and unbeknownst to them, Qasim's wife puts a blob of wax in the scales to find out what Ali Baba is using them for, and she's curious to know what kind of grain her impoverished brother-in-law needs to measure. To her shock, she finds a gold coin sticking to the scales and tells her husband. Under pressure from his brother, Ali Baba is forced to reveal the secret of the cave. Qasim goes to the cave, taking a donkey with him to take as much treasure as possible. He enters the cave with the magic words. However, in his greed and excitement over the treasure, he forgets the words to get out again and ends up trapped. Right? The thieves find him in there and kill him. And when his brother does not come back, Ali Baba goes to the cave to look for him and finds the body quartered and with each piece displayed just inside the cave's entrance as a warning to anyone else who might try to enter. So that's the origin of the open sesame, is that it opened this cave. Now, it's supposed to be a myth. We don't know if it has any grounds in history or not, but open sesame really says open says me, right? And so it's not so much that Ali Baba was the one saying it, as much as it was the words and the sound of himself saying it and the feeling that it evoked when he said it and the feeling that he had as he said it. So we're going to talk a little bit about feeling, why that's so important. But for right now, it's just interesting to notice that we have these words of power that we've always known we had. For instance, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, when Moses is talking to the burning bush, and the burning bush is telling him, go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go. And Moses says, well, who should I tell him, sent me? And he says, I am that I am sent you. When we think about the power of the I am when we speak it, we want to be a little bit careful. I don't want to get too superstitious, but we do want to be careful. For instance, I am sick and tired. What do you think that does? Right? It creates the reality of I am sick and tired. And if you really notice when you say those words, your posture even changes. You begin to cave in on yourself. So we want to make sure that when we use the I am, we are using it in a positive, constructive way. For instance, I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. I am prosperous. I am healthy. I am love, and I am loved. I am the beloved. We want to use those words of power instead of using the negative words of power. And the other thing about it, and it is a little superstitious, but there's a meaning behind it, is we don't want to say I am not ill. Okay? Because your subjective mind, which I've talked about several times, as the recording of everything that's happened to us and our reaction to it, is like a computer disk that's in our mind. It hears only the words of power. It hears ill. It doesn't hear I'm not, you see. And so what begins to happen is if I say I'm not ill, then I'm going to create illness anyway. So we want to be in the positive tense. We want to say, I am healthy, right? I am now healthy, not I'm going to be healthy, not I was healthy. I'm healthy right now because we're using the I am in the most powerful way possible. And when you think about words and how each person interprets words differently, we know that they have power because they're personal to us, right? And so when we talk, here's a perfect example, like people in Holland speak Dutch. They still use the same words, but they're speaking Dutch and they're thinking in Dutch. They're not thinking in the English version of it. But we all have a commonality in what we believe, you see. For instance, let's take just this is a table, and whatever that is says in Dutch, this is a table. And we all agree upon that language. That's the power that it has. When it becomes personal is when it taps into our own values and our own beliefs. And then it becomes personal. And it doesn't matter what language you're speaking in, it's the same thing. That's commonality, that words have meaning to us individually as well as collectively. Now, what's interesting, because I have this bird, a cockatoo, and for years he speaks all the time, but I can't always understand him. And so I would say to him, can you please speak human? And I started watching these videos of these birds who were making the same kind of sounds that he was. And the people who were living with the bird would put the caption under there. And I started realizing he's been speaking human all along. It's just that I wasn't understanding him. For instance, I don't want to, sometimes you don't know, what he's saying, but it's very clear that he's saying, I don't want to, because his actions are backing that up. Well, he says things like, I don't know, like, what are you doing? I don't know. And I didn't know that's what he was saying. And then this cockatoo in this TikTok video said, I don't know. And I was like, oh my God, that's what he's been saying all along. I don't know. So I say, what are you doing? I don't know. Right? We think that birds just regurgitate what they've heard. Not necessarily true. When you look at these videos, and in Living with Buddy, I really do know that he understands what I'm saying. And isn't that interesting that no matter what language I'm going to speak, he's going to have an understanding. If he was raised in Holland, he would have one understanding. If he's raised here in the United States, he would understand English. If he was my friend who lives in Germany half the year and in Florida the rest of the year has dogs who only speak German. And I would speak to these dogs, and they didn't understand me when I was speaking English, but I would speak German to them. And even though my German was not perfect, the words had power for them, you see. So it's interesting because, dogs, I live with a trilingual dog. She speaks Dutch because she's from Belgium, actually, but came from Holland. And people have been speaking Dutch to her up until she came here, which was like 8 weeks. And then the person who lives with us speaks Dutch to her. And the other person that used to live with us spoke Dutch to her. And so she responds really well to the Dutch as well as she does to the English. But he's also taught her some Spanish. So she's trilingual. And we always think of dogs as having less intelligence than we do. The only thing that separates us from the animals is we have individualized our consciousness to be self-aware. And we know that we're human, and we know that we have this, that, and the other thing going on. Dogs are very simple, even though they're very intelligent. They're very simple. Am I happy? I'm happy. Am I not happy? I'm not happy. And so we're the only ones that say, I have a degree of happiness. You hear this one comedian, I'm trying to remember his name, used to say, dogs only know time relative to two things, now and forever. You are gone now. You'll be gone forever. You're here now. And it doesn't really matter what language you're speaking. They still have that same concept. And I don't know about cats. I know that cats live in different countries, so people talk to them, but I don't know if you can talk different languages to cats and they will understand you. I mean, it's possible. They're very intelligent creatures. And a lot of what they do is through sense, like they intuitively understand. So it's possible you could speak to them in several different languages and they might understand. We humans, some of us have that gift of learning a lot of languages and some don't. Like I know a couple people, this friend of mine's son spoke 7 languages fluently. And he has a gift for that. I don't have that particular gift. I catch on quickly, but as far as having conversations, I don't really have an advanced ability to speak the language. I've been working on it. I'm working on Dutch and I'm working on Spanish. Anyway, I have a little treat for you today. One part of our team that hardly ever gets recognized is my beloved husband and our associate minister. And as I was preparing for the sermon today, I was listening to various sermons, and one of them was one that he did. And I'm going to let him do it in his own words rather than try to copy what he did, because I think it's so powerful. So let me know if you can't hear this properly. I'm hoping you'll be able to hear it just fine, but let me know.
All of that stuff, all of these things are expressed in forms of vibration. So naturally, we respond to vibration. Vibration has flavors to it. And those flavors begin to have an effect on us. And we are tuned to them and we respond in a very specific way. If you listen to the names of God, for instance, as they are, as the names of, as God has been named in different religions, there is a commonality there with the Hebrew God that most of us know. His name is Yahweh. Yahweh. You hear this vowel sound, Yahweh. And then with the Muslims is Allah. So you have the sound again. Buddha. All right, Krishna. That sound, that sound is always there. And when you think about what is that, what do we feel when we hear or witness that vowel sound? And when do you make that vowel sound? It's that inspired noise. It's that inspired sound that make the gasp. That brings us that feeling of inspiration and that feeling of awe. And when we, and in the classic meditation, when you hear the meditation, the mantra of Om, correctly pronounced is Aum, Aum. And so what you're doing then is you're taking that vowel sound and you're internalizing Aum. It's almost like you're eating it. Aum. So these things begin to have a difference and they affect us in different ways. When we do treatment, we talk about this thing called speak your word. Speak your word. Okay, here is the phrase we use. Speak your word into the law and it shall be done. Cool. All right, sounds like a good plan. I like it. And I was listening to this interview with this woman who wrote a book about the damage that has been done to our society through this myth of positive thinking. I thought, really? What an interesting idea this is. Let's hear some more. And she wrote a book that essentially said that if you engage in this is the nutshell as I understand it. If you engage in positive or affirmative thinking without any basis for it, then what you're actually doing is you're engaging in wishful thinking, and it prevents you from doing what you really need to do because you are expecting things to happen just because you are holding a positive thought. And you shouldn't do that. Great point of view, I thought. And I thought, wow. So if I don't hold any kind of positive expectancy about things, then how do I set things in motion if I'm not holding that? Well, and then she put it off to, that this was an infection of our culture through all this wacky new age thinking. Well, here's what I have to say about that. When we say speak your word into the law, we're tapping into an ancient principle that has been proved time and time again across cultures that don't know anything about each other. And the Greeks had a word for this. They called it the logos. The logos is the sound of God within you speaking itself into the ethers, into the universe. And that logos is that when you read the Bible, you go to the first, you go to the Gospel of John. The very first words in the Gospel of John are, let me see if I can remember. I'm supposed to be a theologian, right? And so God spoke the word, and the word was good, and the word was law. That is a reference to, and they would have known this at the time this was written very clearly. Anybody would have known it that he was talking about logos. that you speak your word, you make your sound, and you change your vibratory rate into the universe, and the universe then responds. That's the principle of logos. It's declaring what you want into existence. That's why when we talk, it tends to be about things that we are more concrete about. The speaking of the word is also evident in other ways that spiritual life and religion express itself. We have a thing called chant. Every religious order does some sort of chant. The chant that we're probably the most tuned to is a form of Gregorian chant. If you listen to it, it has a very characteristic sound, and it takes you places. Here, let me give you an example. All right, Gregorian chant uses it's a primitive form of music, and what they do is they use the principle of fifths, or they call it, in music it's called a perfect fifth. So you have your note here, and then you had a fifth, which is 5 intervals up. You put them together, and you hear the way that sounds. What does that sound like to you? Does it sound like Gregorian chant? Remember when that chant record was so popular? The monks of whatever it was? So they use this. They use that kind of sound, and it transports you. It kind of puts you into a whole meditative place. And part of that is that there is a synergy in this interval. Da-da. What they discovered as they were putting these chants together is that there are different scales that make sense. And the one scale that we all know that makes the most sense to our ear in the Western world is a major scale. And what that is that's basically 7 tones, where the intervals between those tones are in a specific arrangement. So they would do all these chants, and they would use this scale. And after a while, they got bored, and so they started thinking, well, okay, they didn't have an instrument that had the black notes. Okay, you have the white notes and the black notes. Okay, the sharps and the flats. They didn't have a way to do that. So in order to change the sound of things, to get different ways of looking at it, they decided, well, okay, we know what the intervals are, so let's start them at a different point. So they would use all the same notes, but starting and ending at a different point. And when they did that, they discovered that it also created kind of a different emotional and gut hit, and it affected people in a different way. And so depending on what they were trying to do or they're trying to convey in a particular chant, they would start it off at a different point in the scale. These are called modes. So we have our first scale.
I'm going to leave it there because I could listen to him for hours, but but relevant to our conversation today, that was what we needed to know, is how the sound of our own voice, and in that case, the monks who are chanting, evoke a feeling that can either calm us or agitate us. Words can either heal or they can harm. The sound can either calm or agitate. And, he never said anything about Ra, which was the Egyptian god, the sun god of Ra. And I was thinking about this, calm. Think about that word, calm. It has that same word or that same sound to it. And also at the end of a prayer, when we say, Amen, right? Think about that. How important it is for us to hear the words as we speak them, because they do have power, not only in the words themselves, But the sound of those words and us saying them in our own voice becomes even more powerful. And the third and final piece of this that makes these words so powerful is the feeling behind the words. So like I was saying, everybody has a different interpretation of what a word may mean. We have some commonalities. We have some words that we can all agree on. That's what this means. I had a friend from Argentina who knew, I think that the language they speak in Argentina is like a mix of Italian and Spanish. And he came to the States and people were speaking Spanish and he didn't understand them. And then he finally realized that Mexican Spanish was different from Spain Spanish, was different from Argentinian. And so he realized that there were different, like a word would mean one thing in Spain, and it would mean a totally different thing in Mexico, and it would mean a totally different thing in Argentina. And so there's all these hangups when you're trying to converse with somebody, trying to figure out, what those meanings are. But because those meanings, how we interpret those words, evoke a specific feeling in us. I mean, think about the last time somebody called you, I don't know, a bitch. Let's just say that. Now, okay, because I got called it a lot, instead of getting upset about it, I said, yeah, total babe in charge here. It changes the meaning of that word to where I'm not affected by it. Really messes them up. But, but when you think about how you can do that, you can evoke a feeling and change a feeling and transmute energy by being able to look at a word and assign a meaning that you have to it. But also with feeling, it's very important that when you're saying, like an affirmation, for example, people like to say affirmations like they're really rote, like I'm even guilty of that because that's how I entertain myself, like in a tanning booth, for example. So I don't think about the time. I will say, I now easily and effortlessly attain and maintain an income of $5,000 a month or more. Or I might, and I just keep saying it over and over again. And I catch myself at some point where it just goes, blah, 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 blah. And I go, nope, I got to do it right. And then I get into the feeling of what I'm saying. And it lasts for a few minutes until my brain goes off and does something else. And then I catch myself again. It's really important that when we're doing affirmations that we understand not only do they invoke or evoke a feeling from us, but we have to start out from the place of wanting the invocation of that feeling. For instance, people will think it's very simplified, like, I don't have to have a feeling behind it. And then they'll speak words of negativity with a lot of power, a lot of emotion, because they're angry or they're hurt. And they'll speak those words and they come out with gusto and they create like that. Emotion is the fuel. The feelings that you have are the fuel that fuels your thoughts and your words. When you think of words and you think of thoughts as the vehicle to get to where you're going, you have to have fuel. And so when you have that fuel of emotion behind what you're saying, then you can power it so that it creates a lot faster and a lot easier. So unfortunately, we're really good as a human doing this. We are really good at being able to create negativity because we always have such an emotional charge behind it. If we could just transmute that, if we could take that energy that we feel that is so powerful and convert it to a feeling of love or a feeling of happiness or a feeling of joy and use that behind our words, then we would create everything quickly, everything we want quickly. Let's put it that way. So as I was doing research for this, it was really interesting how I got the inspiration actually was I was sitting the other morning on my porch like I do, especially this time of year, because I just am not ready for the winter to come yet. And I was sitting and I was watching TikTok videos and it was so bizarre because I watched like 5 in a row on my For Me page 5 in a row that were about different affirmations. And I thought, okay, so words of power. All right, I guess that's what I need to talk about this week. So the one that I've been working with and I really love is I do not chase, I attract. What is mine comes to me. And that works well for relationships. It works well for money. It works well for health. It works, whatever is yours comes to you. I do not chase, because when you chase, you come from the feeling is lack. The feeling is I do not have. The feeling is I can't get it. When you chase, when you attract, you are opening yourself to infinite possibility for that to come your way. You see the difference? And so I do not chase, I attract. What is mine comes to me. I've been working on that, and I try to build up as much emotion underneath that as I possibly can. What does it feel like when I attract? What does it feel like when what is mine comes to me? That's the feeling you want to have. Here's another one that I heard that morning that I really liked, and it's for calling back your power. Those of you who know my story know that's what started this church, was this I was wanting to call my spirit back. So this is calling back your power. With love to all and harm to none, I call back my power from every person, place, or thing. I call back my power clean, recalibrated, and only belonging to me. I like that one quite a bit. And when you think about what that feeling is, when you're calling back your power and you are realizing that only your power comes to you, that none of the things that other people are thinking or saying or doing have any effect on that. They don't have any power over you. You see, when we let other people determine how we feel about ourselves, we have given our power to them. We want to reclaim our power back. So that's why I like that one. With love to all and harm to none, I call back my power from every person, place, or thing. I call back my power clean, recalibrated, and only belonging to me. And then another one I heard that morning was, bring me peace, bring me wealth, bless me with great health. Clear a path so I can flourish, because what's ahead will surely nourish. Isn't that cool? It really gives you a sense of feeling like, yeah, what's ahead is really for my benefit. What's ahead is really going to benefit me. And when you have that feeling, then everything is very powerful in your life. And that's how you create the kind of world that you want to see, the kind of world that exists only for you, right? So this week, what I'd like you to do is pick one of those kinds of affirmations, whether you get it off of TikTok, whether you do one that I have said here, and I can post these, right, Faith? We can post these in the comment section so that you can grab them later if you want. Whether you use one of these affirmations, or you go on TikTok and you find an affirmation, or you use one of Louise Hay's affirmations, whether you use any of those affirmations, what you want to do is this week focus on the sound of your own voice saying these words of power, making sure that whatever affirmation you choose, the words have power to you, not necessarily to anyone else. They need to have power to you. And listening to the sound of your own voice, speaking these words of power, and allowing yourself to gather, kind of like a storm, gather those positive emotions before you say these affirmations, and try to stay on track with that. Do what I do. Eventually you'll probably, as you say them more and more, you probably will check out a little bit, and then it'll be like, blah, 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 blah. But when you catch yourself, gather up that storm of feeling again and restart the affirmation, and try to be consistent with that so that you can create the world you would like to see. Will you do that with me this week? Let's have a prayer. I right now turn my awareness to the infinite power, the infinite presence of God, to that place within me that knows beyond human understanding just how present, how powerful God is. God has always been there. It's all that ever was, all that ever will be, and all there is operating right here, right now. And so that's where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that flows through me as God, in me as me. I know that same truth for this wonderful team that God has gifted me with, for Faith and for Tina and for Lynn and for Oz. For we are one in that power and presence of God. And so every human doingness project that the team does on behalf of God to get the message out is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that flows through us so perfectly to allow us to do the things that human doings need to do. And I know that same truth to be so for every person watching this. It doesn't matter whether it's in real time or later on. Because what I do know is that we are all connected through it, by it, as it. That God is the power that flows through all of us, and it is uninterrupted. There is no place where one leaves off and the other begins. We are all one. Mitaku Yasin, all my brethren. We are all one. And so this coming week, I just absolutely know is inspired and inspiring. That every opportunity that we invoke by doing our best to speak the words of power, listen to our words as we speak them, and evoke the feeling that we would like to have, that we want to power those affirmations. As we do this work this week, millions of opportunities come our way in every form. We are all blessed by it perfectly. That it manifests itself through our words here and now. As I know that every name in the ministry of prayer experiences that same power and presence. Because I do know that no matter what condition they are experiencing, the power of God is supporting and underneath that. And so I pull back the veil to reveal that truth of God that is beyond and behind and more powerful than any condition we can experience. So I claim that power right here and right now. I claim that healing in their name as good and very good. I bless it. I receive it in their name here and now. And as I do, my heart just fills with gratitude to be of service in this way, to know that this is done, and I just let it be. And so it is. Okay, now is this is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express your gratitude for that which you have already received and that which you may have manifested in mind, in God's mind, but has not yet showed up in physical form. So Faith has put up on the screen and in the comments our website, which is www.oasiscsl.org. So please go there. And about 2/3 down the first page there is our offering affirmation that I'm going to have you say with us as you contribute. Again, when you're contributing, I had this conversation with my neighbors last night. When you contribute, it's not because you're giving to God. You're not giving to the minister. What you're doing is you're opening the flow of circulation in your life so that you are giving and receiving, and the vibration of that giving and receiving comes back to you tenfold, you see. It has nothing to do with being a religious organization that you have to give to, or it being the minister needs new shoes or a new car. It has nothing to do with anything like that. What it has to do with is opening the flow of your own good in your own life and activating that law of circulation. So please go to oasiscsl.org, and about 2/3 down the page, Say this offering affirmation with me. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive. And so it is. And here's Faith with a Karen Drucker song. And she's going to sign. It's a real gift today.
I am beautiful. I am powerful. I let go of my past and celebrate who I've become. I am beautiful. I am powerful. And I celebrate who I am. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I let go of my past, celebrate who I've become. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I let go of my past and celebrate who I've become. I am beautiful. I am powerful. And I celebrate who I am. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I let go of my past and celebrate who I've become. I am beautiful. I am powerful. And I celebrate who I am. I am beautiful. I am powerful. Let go of my past and celebrate who I've become. I am beautiful. I am powerful. And I celebrate who I am. I am beautiful. I am powerful. Let go of my past and celebrate who I've become. I am beautiful. I am powerful. Celebrate who I am. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I let go of my past and celebrate who I've become. I am beautiful. I am powerful. And I celebrate who I am. Oh, I celebrate who I am. Yes, I celebrate. Celebrate. Yes, I'll celebrate. Oh, I'll celebrate. Yes, I'll celebrate. Celebrate. Yeah, I'll celebrate. Oh, I'll celebrate. Yes, I'll celebrate. Oh, celebrate. Yeah, I'll celebrate. Oh, I'll celebrate who I've become. Yes, I'll celebrate. Oh, I celebrate. Yes, I'll celebrate who I am. I celebrate. Oh, who I've become. Yes, I celebrate.
I love it when you do that song. I have to point out something too, so this is the correct use of I am, but also think about what happens in the body as you're signing it. It's like it's cementing in. It's like a whole NLP thing. Like we use called an anchor when you like tap your thumb and your ring finger together when you want to lock something in to your body. And so when you think about you signing as you're singing that song, you're like locking it into every cell of your body. So not only are you using the I am properly, but it's taking you over. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
And that is off of which album?
That is off of Songs of Spirit 4.
Songs of Spirit 4. Okay, well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. So thank you, Faith.
Of course, thank you.
All right, so we have this wonderful ministry of prayer where we have licensed practitioners from coast to coast that will pray on your requests every day for a week. So if you would like prayer for something, please put it in the comments section. If you don't want it to be public, you can always message one of us, and Faith will put it on our private facing group page for Facebook, which is our God Squad page. We call our prayer warriors, if you say prayer partners, prayer warriors, everybody has their word. We use God Squad. I think of God Squad is a powerful word when you think about it, like God swooping in, right? Anyway, so if you would like to have prayer, please put it either in the comments or message one of us. We have this wonderful team that is going to pray on those requests every day for a week. If you would like to be part of the God Squad, you don't necessarily have to be a licensed practitioner, but you have to have a commitment to doing affirmative prayer every day for a week and keeping those prayer requests confidential. If you would like to participate in that, in the comment section, please say yes, and Faith will add you to the God Squad page. If you would like to be part of our online community, you want to type more in the comment section, and Faith will add you to our public-facing group page, which is where we announce everything before we announce it to the world, events that are happening and that kind of thing. So I want to also let you know that the Wise and Powerful Oz is available for today for our 1-minute miracle. It's not a time for counseling. It is a time where you can tell him what challenge you're experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. And it's not a time for counseling, but it is a time that he can pray with you. He does that through video chat. You can video chat him. If he doesn't answer right away, it might mean that he is on with someone else. Try back later. But also, I wanted to say that our licensed practitioners are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance. I think, no, okay. I was trying to make sure Buddy hadn't disappeared. Our licensed practitioners are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance. So reach out to them through Facebook or our website and let them know that you would like to do a session, and they'll arrange payment with you either by PayPal or Venmo or Cash App or whatever. Each practitioner has their own thing that they do. And then they'll reach out to you at the appointed time by video chat. Also, we are starting the Foundations of Science of Mind class, and we are starting it this Thursday from 7 to 10 Mountain Time. I need to know if anyone is interested, so you need to reach out to me some way and let me know, and we will figure out a way for you to make payment. You need to pay $30 each week until the 5th week, in which you'll need to pay the balance of it. It's $300 for 10 weeks. It will change your life. We have you pick something that you would like to work on for the entire 10 weeks, and you can apply the spiritual principle to it. We have you say, I'm from 1 to 10, I'm a 2. And at the end, I would like to be an 8. And we get that in the very first class. And we work towards that all the way till the end. So it's a very powerful class. Again, it's $300 for 10 weeks. You pay $30 per class ahead of time for each class until the 5th class, and then you pay the $150. That does include the fee that we pay home office to record your registration. So if you move to some other church, they have that information. If you've already taken the class and we can verify that, then you can audit it for $30 for the entire class. You don't have to do the homework. You can if you want. We will grade it if you'd like, but it's more about refreshing so that the principles you deepen into those principles. All right, let's see. I've got a few things that I need to announce real quickly because I know we're running out of time. Brooks and Bailey, she has bracelets and mala beads. Here's what the clasps look like. I don't know if you can see. The clasps are really cool. It's like a bar that goes into a circle. They don't fall off as much as the other ones. Proceeds go to Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue, and you can get a hold of her through Brooks and Bailey 0307 at gmail.com. Also, they just created a Facebook page. I know I tagged you on that, Faith. We probably ought to add that to our announcements. But they have a Facebook page now, so that's cool. And then Miss Faith has a website.
Definitely go check out the Mystic Brew. It has intention jars and bath salts, perfect for whatever your I am phrase is, as well as we have boxes where you can build your own intention jar now as well. Also, make sure you are following all of our social media on Instagram and Facebook at the Mystic Brew 303 so that you can have a chance to win our giveaway, which is coming soon because it is the beginning of October.
Great. Thank you, Faith. And then as an adjunct, we have Angel Renee, who has intention candles for $25 and these tea bags, intention tea bags, where you put the tea bag in the bath with you and you focus on your intention. Again, a great use for the I am statements that you're making. And those are $10. So we have those. And please check out Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver's music. God, if she puts any more titles in front of that, I'll never make it through it. You will have to reach out to her by email to find out how to pay her because she can't update her website and she's traveling all over the United States doing her music. And so she will let you know how you can get payment to her. Also, Karen Drucker, if you like the song that Faith did and you want to see the hand movements for the American Sign Language, those are in the book that she gives you for the songbook. So you can buy it by the song. You can put him in there. Lynn, just put him in his cage. If you want to buy it by the song, you can do that. You can buy it by the CD. You can get the songbook. And some of the songs, not all of them, have American Sign Language. And so it's a great way, because all of her stuff is very affirmative. It's a great way to get it into your body, into the feeling, all of that. So check that out. And you can pay her directly on the website. All right. And then check out our website for previous sermons, current sermons, all of our practitioners' information, all of our events. www.oasiscsl.org. All right. Here is the last video of the service, and this is a great one to get stuck in your head. So sing along if you know the words. If you don't, try to memorize these words because they're awesome to bless your life.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so grateful. I am so glad.
And I know the blessings of God are right here, right now, in my life and in yours. And I claim that perfection for your life and for all life. I know that the perfection of God is rolling through and acting through each and every one of us right here, right now, and always. And for that, I give great thanks, and I let it be so. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your beingness with us, your presence with us. Be safe, wear a mask, get vaccinated. Join us next week and every week, Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. We can't wait to see you again. Bye. We love you.